Hello, hi, and welcome to another episode of the Nothing Podcast. Podcast where we talk about everything and everything all in one. And yeah, it's been quite a while since I did one of these, but with everything else, time goes by, and there's always something to talk about. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to the tech space, whether it's political or economical. Since the last time we talked, the rand has gone down, up, So the rand has gone up quite a bit. I think it's sitting at like 1790, 1780 now. The last time we talked, it was like 19 something, which is a good thing for us. The rand is always a good thing when it comes to the socio-economical indicator of where we are as a country and where we are going. Another thing that has happened is the iPhone 16 has dropped, and there's been quite a lot of controversy when it comes to it because there's not really a lot of changes when it comes to the previous generation and the new one. But I feel like there's little increments of changes that makes it better than the old one, but not really such a huge. I feel like, in my own personal opinion, between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 16, other than the Type-C charging, there isn't really a huge difference when it comes to the two, because if you were to use the two, the only thing that visually is different is the dynamic island and the cameras at the back when it comes to the lower end models with the new iPhone 16. But other than that, there isn't really a huge shift when it comes to the two. There's been quite a lot of things happening. Also, there's been a lot of developments. One thing I really want to focus on when it comes to content creation is content creation when it comes to content creation in South Africa specifically, and how to make life easier for yourself as a content creator living here. Because if you go look for any reviews or anything like that, you always find these reviews from products from Amazon, AliExpress, and all those things, which is stuff that we don't necessarily have access to. So I want to focus more on getting the value out there for everyone that lives here. And so one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to making life easier for yourself as a content creator is one aspect I've noticed people really skimp out on when it comes to content creation is the audio. People would much rather go out and buy a camera and stuff like that when it comes to making the quality of the content creation better, which I think, as a content creator, if you have a phone already, that is already good to get brands and everything like that. The next thing you need to focus on is lighting and audio. And when it comes to audio specifically, one thing I've really noticed is the newer CM28 microphones that you can actually buy from Camera Stuff, and they are very great. They have great features, they sound great, and they also don't cost a lot. One feature that the newer CM28 has that I really like is the internal recording. So it can record audio internally to the microphone receiver itself without you needing to record it to an external device. So I feel like that is a very clutch feature. It also has a case to charge the microphones in, so you didn't have to worry about charging the receiver and the transmitter and everything like that. So I feel like it's very important to upgrade your lighting and your audio first when it comes to content creation before you think about upgrading the camera that you have. If you're already using a phone that was made in the past 5 years, you can get by with anything. I feel like the newer CM28s are very good when it comes to content creation, and they are also not expensive as expensive when it comes to microphones compared to the other things you can get, like the Rode microphones or the DJI microphones when it comes to the competition that is out there. And also, when it comes to the lighting is very finicky because it depends the type of device that you're recording on. I think just getting a basic ring light for most people in their content creation would do very well. But then again, there's people who do stuff outdoors and do stuff differently when it comes to content creation. So not everyone is at the same level. So I think if you are getting to a space, for instance, when it comes to podcast recording, one is knowing how to shape the lights that you already have with you when it comes to content creation. So when shooting videos and stuff like that, try to place your camera and stuff from the angle where the light is coming, like for instance next to a window and stuff like that, like as I'm doing right here, and it's already going to look much better than going and recording against the window and stuff that you have. And just learn how to properly light and the audio of a video when it comes to content creation, rather than going out and spending thousands of rands on a new camera when all you had to do was change up the little things that you already have within your setup to make the quality of your content much better. So yeah, I think that's some of the things that people really focus on. I've seen a lot of times on TikTok and Instagram when people post reels and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, what camera are you using, what settings are you using? Something that I think a lot of people don't understand is settings that I'm using, for instance here for this lighting and stuff like that, are not stuff that are going to work for you. So you need to understand the basic settings, which is the exposure triangle. And in photography and videography, the exposure triangle is aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. You need to understand that when it comes to lighting and having a proper image in your video of how those three things work, and you would have a better understanding of how to light your video and how to shape and angle your video when it comes to getting better picture quality, so that you don't have to ask people online what settings are you using, because their settings are not going to work for you because you are recording in different environment and lighting scenario than they are. So which is something that I've noticed a lot of people do when it comes to content creation. They focus more on, oh, this guy's video looks very good, I wonder which camera he's using. If you're going to use a very high-end camera when it comes to content creation with no lighting, it's going to look bad because you didn't think of all three of those things when it comes to creating for exposing for the best possible frame that you can get. Whereas if you're going to use the camera that you already have, which with most people is the smartphones that they already have, sorry about that, and you're just gonna get better audio and better lighting for that camera that you already have, you're gonna have a much better image than just buying a new camera, which is something I think a lot of people don't understand, but I get why, because a lot of people have this connotation that if you get a better, bigger camera, you're gonna produce a better image, which is not real actually, because a lot of cinematographers buy these bigger cameras and stuff, not necessarily to get a better image, but to make life easier for themselves when it comes to working with these cameras. A lot of people who have these big cameras and stuff like that, the image doesn't necessarily depend on the amount of things you have on the camera, like a monitor and a matte box and all of those things. It just depends on how you as a cinematographer are gonna look at that frame and then make sure that frame is the best possible frame that you can get, which is what I think a lot of people don't understand. And yeah, it's just taking things little by little. I think next week we're going to be talking about editing and things you can do in editing when it comes to stepping up your image and making sure that you have the best possible presentation when it comes to your content creation. Yeah, that was it for this week, and see you next week on the another episode of the Nothing Podcast. Cheers, guys.